Welcome into the second episode of Bombers Breakdown presented by Tompkins Trust Company, the show where we put all your favorite Ithaca coaches in the hot seat. I'm Emma Fruling alongside my co-host Severin Lavenstein, and today we welcome onto the podcast Coach Swanstrom. I don't know, Coach, are you ready for this?
Sure, maybe more than I thought, I guess.
Sounds good. Sev, want to start us off?
Coach, glad to have you with us. Hope you're ready for this. Let's start with an easy one for you. Tell us a little bit about where you were before Ithaca and what your journey was like to end up here.
Okay, so before I received the job offer here, I was the quarterbacks coach and recruiting coordinator at the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. We spent 3 years there. And before that, I was the offensive coordinator and associate head coach at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore. And I was a graduate assistant out in California at the University of Redlands for 2 years. And I coached high school football down in Texas for 1 year. Played in Germany for a year and, played college ball at Rhodes College and originally from Texas. So that's just a quick background.
You played in Germany. Where in Germany?
I played in a little town called Darmstadt, which is just south of Frankfurt. And what it's most famous for is during World War II, they would turn the lights off in Frankfurt and turn the lights on in Darmstadt. So they basically, during World War II, bombed Darmstadt to the ground. But they have—
That's not good.
Yeah, well, so like in Germany, each town kind of has a club that kind of houses all the sports. So like there's no high school or college sports, but you're kind of a member of a club. So they have under 17 teams and then they have professional teams. So that's where the soccer leagues are housed in the same clubs, basketball teams. So every sport's there. So, there's about 20 clubs that play football in Germany and they're allowed to have 8 Americans on the roster. And when I finished my college ball, I got a contract offer to go over there and play for them and took it and did that.
Did you pick up any German while you were there, or was it tough to navigate?
That was actually part of my contract. Was I was supposed to take German lessons. That was like non-negotiable within the contract. But then it kind of fell apart with my teacher. She was inconsistent with getting our schedule because we practiced at night and stuff like that. So then it just kind of fell apart a little bit.
German's such an interesting language. I'd be intrigued.
The only thing I learned, I got all the train stations down.
Do you still remember them?
Oh yeah, Messplatz, Siemensstrassen. Like I know exactly what stops we're getting off and stuff like that. So that's what I remember the most.
That's so awesome. That's super cool. Well, going back to kind of you being the Ithaca coach and you moving your way up into coaching football, if you weren't a coach, what do you think you'd be doing right now?
Wow, that's a question I think about occasionally, not that often. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I think what I found was I didn't really go to college with the thought process of being a coach. I went into college probably with the idea of potentially going to law school, and it was kind of my thought process, but I had no idea why that was my thought process. I really wasn't sure, and I got that offer in Germany, so I got to keep playing for another year, which was great. And then how everything kind of worked out from there. When I got back from Germany, I was basically an extended sub at a high school, and I was coaching football and baseball there. And I put out maybe 5 or 8 resumes for graduate assistant jobs. And the school in California called me, and I did 2 years there. I got a master's degree. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, kind of the thought process was really just to be as active as possible. I think so. If I were to think about something, it'd have to be movement. I mean, I just have to be moving. I find being confined in the office and on the computer probably something that just kind of drives me insane. So I don't know where I would go. I don't know what I would do, but I think there would be, there'd be movement, there'd be activity, there'd be a lot of either, running, walking, I don't know what it would be, but that's what I would think.
I feel like all athletes have that feeling that they just can't be behind a desk. I was saying to Severin yesterday, I think I'd want to be like an astronaut if I were to do like a dream job. That's a lot of moving. That's a lot of training like an athlete.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be pretty awesome. I mean, that would be pretty awesome. So, I mean, that would be probably what, like a Navy and Air Force background, right? To get you going in that
Exactly.
direction. Yeah. A lot of training, so, um, that'd be great, potentially, so there's a lot of things out there. It's just a matter of, I guess, kind of my message to a lot of people, when I talk to and our players and stuff like that. Like, this wasn't my passion through the process of work. And it's not like I woke up when I was like 11, 10, and 9. It was like, oh, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do. It was like I went through the process of trial and error, and it developed into my passion. And I think, that is kind of how it all came together for me.
Coach, you mentioned, talking to your players, and obviously right now a little bit of a stagnant time, but can you tell us what the conversation has been like? Obviously, once it was determined that there wouldn't be a season, and in all of this uncertainty, kind of what those discussions have been like.
I think it was kind of expected. So I think it may took a little bit of the bite of the conversation out of it. I think the hardest part has just been the this slow um, process of the seniors who would have been this past year. Um, just the realization of how hard it would be to come back and play their 5th year and how that all worked together. So it started off with a lot of energy, and the group of seniors, yeah, we're going to do this, we're coming back. And then just over time, as things just kind of, just uh, became more apparently obvious we weren't going to play. Um, and, the commitment it would take to come back for a 5th year. And they're on pace to graduate, and they've got all these plans that they were on pace to, go to 4 years. We got, guys going to applying for medical school. We got guys applying to law school right now. We've got guys with applications into the police academy. We've got guys who had applications into graduate schools, and so they had their plan. They were going to play, and then now their 4-year plans are now mixing with, can I come back and play? And just over time, we've really you know, uh, just kind of hit us really hard with just kind of this methodical, coach, I can't do it. I'm not coming back. And that's probably been the hardest thing with everything that we've been through.
Yeah, that was definitely something that I went through myself with soccer. It's a weird situation that obviously so unprecedented. So more power to you being able to have those conversations and help the players that do want to stay and those who want to move on. I think it's such a, I mean, obviously nobody expected it. So it's such a bizarre situation to be thrown into. But I think the fall sports have handled themselves extremely well, especially when it comes to the seniors. I know that it wasn't the ideal way for any of our careers to end, but we'll take what we can get.
Yeah,
Moving,
it's pretty terrible.
sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly. So
Moving back over to a bit of the coaching during the game, what's your biggest coaching pet peeve?
uh, I'm I'm not really sure, like, but what the question is. Like, can you elaborate a little bit?
So obviously there's different, it might be different for like practice and for games, but I know basic ones are like if a player doesn't hustle, if
Oh, okay.
they're late to practice, things like that. But do you have any different ones that might not be just the most basic pet peeve?
Yeah, I mean, we have like our basic core structures of like fundamentals and how we want things done, and it drives me nuts when we don't abide by 'em. I think probably the thing that drives me the most nuts on the football field is when somebody gets knocked down and they just take their sweet time getting up. I don't know why, but it drives me insane. Like I just, I feel like, just popping up and being ready to go. And then nothing drives me more insane than dumb penalties. Um, you know, there's um, there's a world of effort penalties. There's mental penalties within the game of football, and then there's just dumb penalties where there's no excuse for it. Whether it's extracurricular, um, and it's just a complete lack of self control. And maintaining a blue head, as we call in our program, and being able to stay on task and being a competitive element. That drives me insane. And then special teams penalties, even though those are effort penalties, there's nothing more crushing in the game of football where you can lose more yardage than 10, 15-yard penalties when you're changing the ball over on a kickoff return, a punt return. And so, those things drive me nuts. And Yeah, those are some pretty big pet peeves. But I guess if you probably talk to a lot of people, they'd probably say I have just this extensive list of pet peeves. So this would probably be a much more extensive conversation.
Coach, you know here we need to ask you only the most important questions. So now that we've gotten kind of a little bit of insight into how you are as a coach, we need to figure out a little bit more about you as a person. And so I can think of no better way to get to the bottom of that answer by asking you maybe the most important question of all time. So no pressure here.
All right.
You must defend one position. So one of the following. Is cereal soup or is a hot dog a sandwich? State your case for one.
Okay, is cereal a soup or is a hot dog a sandwich? I would go hot dog sandwich because of bread.
Everyone's going against Severin and I.
I'm
We
0
think
for 2
cereal
here.
is a soup because it's like a cold gazpacho.
We're classifying it in the breakfast gazpacho category. And I really think I have a win here.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing a lot of broth.
Fair.
I
I
think really
mean,
broth is kind of the core of the soup. And then also when you go look really cereal, it really is just a bowl of carbs. You know, we're missing a lot of vegetables. You know, I think the better question would be, is chili a soup?
And then we start
ooh,
getting into consistency. Yeah. And then, is oatmeal cereal because that consistency is different. I mean, there's a lot of different directions to go here. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think oatmeal's its own thing.
I'll take
we
the
really
L
need
though.
to
Chili's
dive
its
into
own.
this one.
I think chili's its own thing, and I would say cereal's its own thing. But I would not classify cereal as a soup, and I would not classify a hot dog as a sandwich either.
Okay. My pride's a little
Wow.
wounded, but I will
Unless
soldier on.
unless you take the hot dog and then you put it on regular bread, then it becomes.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't think it's a sandwich.
That's fair.
But apparently, both you and Coach Wahila would rather say that hot dogs are a sandwich than cereal is a soup. So we have to respect it. I
Well, I'd
mean,
rather say neither or either.
okay, fair. That's fair. Now, going back a bit to your family life, I know you have kids. So, what combine drill would they be able to beat you at?
Uh, my 3 kids, and we go to the combine. Well, they can't beat me in the 40. They can't beat me in the pro agility. They can't beat me in the broad jump. They can't beat me in the vertical jump. They can't beat me on the bench test, the squat test. They couldn't beat me in any position drills. Yeah, I mean, I don't think maybe Harrison would have a chance, the oldest, maybe in the Wonderlic test.
So, none.
Well, I mean, the abstract like Wonderlic like test, like he might have a chance. Like who knows how that thing plays out? You know, like the written
Fair.
test that they give the guys at the combine.
Yeah, that's fair.
With kind of abstract questions. So I would say Harrison would have a shot. Wonderlic test. Who knows how that would play out?
If we're starting to test IQ too, I mean, that's no shot for me. I know it's counting out a lot of people. That's rough. I didn't know that was going to be part of it.
If there was an intensity drill, Elizabeth, the 7-year-old, she would win. If there was an intensity, anger, frustration drill, which is good for football. I just don't know if that would come in the combine, but she would be dominant at that.
I've seen them running around those basketball games. You got some fast kids.
She's super competitive. Yeah, she's pretty smooth. She's pretty smooth little athlete. Her big thing right now is gymnastics, which is she absolutely loves that. So that's pretty fun watching her go through that. And then our little one is now getting, wanting to be like her big sister too. So we're getting a little energy and juice around that stuff right now.
Do we get a rough estimate on your 40 time? I'm thinking sub 4. That's just off the top of my head.
Sub 4. No. Pretty consistently, 4.8, kind of 40 runner. And there's one outlier handheld time at Rhodes that is a 4.7, but like most things you'd have to, throw out the top, throw out the slowest, and I'm pretty much probably coming in the mid 4.8s at my best shape that I could get in. I don't think I could pull that off right now. I think I would probably injure myself.
That might have to be our next test. We might just have to put you up on that 40.
Yeah, probably rip a hamstring pretty quickly.
We can make it as special. That's gonna be all the time we have here on Bombers Breakdown, presented by Tompkins Trust Company. Coach, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it, and we're hoping to see you back on the field really soon.
No, thank you guys. This was awesome, and can't wait to see the final product and get it out and keep doing great work. And if there's ever anything you guys need from me, just always reach out. Happy to help.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.